All right, everybody. On behalf of Professional Title, want to welcome you guys to the 8-week follow-up plan that you need. Follow-up in general is one of those things that not only realtors, but all salespeople struggle with. So wanted to just do this today to make sure that you have an actionable plan. We will be done in like a half hour, and I want you to not cut out at the end of that half hour and go do something else. I want you to take the time that you're getting back here because it was supposed to be an hour so that you can go and put this into play. I'm going to give you a very easy 8-step follow-up plan that works for any level of realtor, whatever skill level you're at, technology level you're at, sales level you're at. Doesn't matter if you have 2 people in the database or 200,000, and it doesn't matter if you've been in the business for 5 minutes or 50 years. This is nice and simple, works for everyone. And whatever piece of technology you're using, they pretty much all have some sort of ability to build out a follow-up plan where it's either, has some automation in it or might just be able to send you a notification of things that you need to do. But today I want to make sure you guys hit that. So we're going to do some quick questions. Then we're going to talk about what an 8-week follow-up plan that you need to have actually looks like. I'll give you some examples, some scripts, some things to make sure that you have in there, and then quick summary and leaving you with action steps to go get to work on. So pretty sure I know everybody on the call, but if I don't, my name's Ryan McHugh. I work with Cindy and Kent at Professional Title. I've met pretty much all of you guys either in person or on Zoom. So welcome back. Thanks for being on. Looking forward to doing this today, just to make a nice, quick, easy one for you guys to take some action. So without further ado, let's dive in here to the 8-week follow-up plan that you need. So quick questions, and everybody just answer in the chat. Whatever your answer is, just punch it in there. No judgment, no matter what it is. Easy one. How many of us have met someone new this year? Just making sure you're awake. Anybody? All right, a couple people. That's a plus. Good start. We're still awake. We're breaking the noon barrier and we are awake. How many of those people did you forget to put in your database? Be honest. Can you think of someone now that you met? And now that I just said this, you're saying, crap, I didn't put that in my database. Can anybody think of someone? Maybe you think of a name right now, or someone that you met at an open house or at the dog park or happy hour, the beach, that you met and just didn't throw them in your database. What about this? How many of us just totally forgot to follow up in any way? So it's not even that we didn't put them in our database. We just forgot about them. And now we're thinking, oh man, I got a person that I need to remember. This happens to all of us, right? We meet people all over the course of our day, our week, our month, our year. And then we think, all right, we're going to do a good job. We're going to go put them in our database, and we forget, and that's okay. And then we just forget to follow up in general because we have no system at all. So this is why we need a system. I'm a big believer in anything that happens twice needs to have a system, right? So if you think about it, you're obviously going to be able to meet new people more than once in your life or in their life. So that means you need a system for meeting people. And I know that sounds so obnoxious and so over the top sometimes, but the truth is we need a system for every time we meet people. And for some of us, we have those systems. They're sticky notes. They might be piles of business cards in a shoebox or in one corner of our house or in our desk or in a kitchen junk drawer. We never get to them, right? It might be the notes section in our phone. It might be emailing ourselves to remember to follow up with someone. We need something that allows us to follow up with people no matter what. And the system that we're going to talk about today ideally should be triggered by you adding someone into your database, or it should be like a follow-up plan that anytime you add someone, you just know your system is no matter what, they go on this plan, so that you don't have to say yes anymore to those questions in the beginning about, did you forget to put them in the database? Did you forget to follow up? Because we all do it, and the money's made in the follow-up. So we need to make sure we have a system for this and turn this thing around now. So what we need to do is the 8x8. Some of you guys that have been in my classes, we've talked about 8x8, just, kind of scratch the surface on them. But I want to really dive in depth on this today because it is important that you actually set one up. And whenever we talk about it, we always just talk about it in theory, but I want to give you like a real strategy here with it. So the 8x8 stands for 8 steps in 8 weeks, or 8 touches over 8 weeks, which means, just to use an example that we're going to stick with the whole rest of the class. Today's Monday, right? So let's say yesterday you did an open house. So Sunday, October 10th, you do an open house 1 to 4 at your favorite listing, and someone walks in, right? That is day 0. That doesn't count. The 8x8 hasn't started yet. The 8x8 would start in theory today. because today is day 1 of week 1. So somewhere in the first week, we need to take an action. And then somewhere in week 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, we need to take actions. But what most people do is they might remember week 1, because week 1 is usually easy, right? I met someone yesterday, so I remember them, and I might think about them again, or remember to connect, or they're the most recent text in my phone, or the business card that's on the top of the pile in my pocket. So they're easy, right? But when we get to week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's not as easy, and that's where the system comes into play. So when you leave here, I just want you to understand at the end, I'm going to give you one slide that's like a summary of all the 8 steps. But when you leave here and you go to put this in action, I need you to understand that this is not an a la carte strategy. Okay. It's not, well, I like the idea for week 1. I don't like week 2. Week 3 is weird. I forgot in week 4. And then I do week 5, 6, 7. And then I forget about 8, right? For this to work and be strategic, you actually need to do all 8 of these. And the only way you're going to actually do that is if you build a system. It could start as a Word document or an Excel thing, but it needs to be built in a piece of technology so that you can use it. So here we go. What does it actually look like to do a real 8x8? So again, example for the purpose of the class, the rest of the way is Sunday, October 10th. We meet someone new at our open house. So number 1, step 1, this needs to be completed within the first week. So if day 0, meaning the day that the event started or happened was yesterday, day 1 is today. So somewhere between today, Monday, the 11th, and Sunday, the 17th, we need to complete this step 1, which is just a phone call with an "it was great meeting you" script. And you can steal this script if you want, or if you want to change it a bit, you can. But the key is that it's just a simple follow-up from the initial meet. So you're just going to say, "Hey, Joe Smith, just wanted to call and say hi and let you know I was so excited to meet you on Sunday at my open house at 123 Main Street. It was really great chatting with you about your move to Volusia County and getting to know you a bit. So I just want to make sure you have all my contact info in case you ever need anything. This number I called you from is my cell, and here's my email, or I'll text you my email. What's yours?" All right. So we're using this first to see if they even answer the phone, right? To understand if they're a phone communicator, and to B, try to fill in any of the gaps on the communication plan that we have with them. So did we get a phone number, an email, or anything like that? So we're testing that out. And also, we're just refreshing their memory about who we are and trying to get them to save us in their phone, because there's a chance in the open house example, right? Some people go out and they look at open houses all day Sunday. So they spend, 3-4 hours looking at 5 or 6 open houses. So obviously they meet a bunch of realtors and other people. And most of the time, if they go to 10 open houses, I'd be blown away if 2 of the realtors even follow up with them. So if you're one of the 2, you're already ahead of the curve, right? But we're just kind of reminding them of that, getting them to save us in their phone, trying to uncover any holes in the communication, and just testing if they're phone people. It's always good to know what people's primary method of contact is, and either labeling that or making yourself aware of that somehow in their contact in your database. Because there's some people, and I'm sure you guys know them, I know plenty of them, that I could call someone 50 times and they just won't answer, but you send them a text and they answer in 1 second. Or I could call them and text them and no answer, but you send them a Facebook message and they answer. So it's good to kind of identify what that strategy is going to be moving forward, because it'll make your communication better if you know how they answer. And this is the first step to figuring that out. So anywhere within week 1, doesn't necessarily have to be Monday, but anywhere in week 1, this is something that has to happen. So you want to set this up so it sends yourself a notification that if I meet someone new within the first 7 days, that they get something from me in the form of a call with a script like this, whether it's a notification or someone else does it for you if you have inside sales or anything like that. But something like this has to go out week 1. Then we move to week 2, week 2 being the item of value. And we've talked about this before, but I just want to stress on this because just from talking to people about it, I realize that people are still struggling with this. So I need you to get out of your head that it has to cost money, right? If you want it to cost money or you want to spend money, that's fine. You can do that. But this is where I've heard a holdup from when I taught the database class. And I think a lot of you, maybe even all of you, have gotten to that class either in person or on Zoom. But a constant issue I have was, I don't know what to send them, or I don't have a budget, or I don't have any money. And that's fine. Whatever the answer is, that's totally cool. But you need to understand that an item of value to everyone doesn't just mean something that costs money, right? If you met the person at Starbucks and they tell you their favorite thing on the planet is Starbucks, sure, an easy item of value is a $5 Starbucks gift card in the mail, or maybe a digital one. It's a good way to get their text or their email, right? And that's fine. But I want you to think about the other people. If you have a conversation about real estate and they're talking about how they need to fix all these things in their house before they can consider moving, a perfectly good connection is a handyman. right? There's nothing wrong with that. That is an item of value, right? Connecting them to someone that you trust that's going to go in there and be able to service them. And that is an item of value. The other things could be something like our app, right? If they're talking about maybe refining or selling and they want to know what they're going to net or what their payment might be or what their cash out numbers are, something like our app can be used very, very easily as an item of value. Or maybe you have a real estate search app and they said they were thinking about buying or investing or renting, so you can connect them with that, right? It doesn't always need to cost money. It needs to just tie into whatever you guys spoke about the first time that you met. And if you met at the dog park, the item of value could be, some kind of a dog app, right? One of those apps that shows you where all the dog friendly restaurants are. That could be the item of value. It's just something to connect again that helps you tie into what you guys were talking about to bring that conversation back full circle. It can be digital, physical, or a connection, right? So digital is the digital Starbucks. It's the app. Physical could be a piece of direct mail, right? Something that you actually send them, or a physical gift card. And the connection is just a relationship. Whatever it is, it's fine. But the goal is that you're, week 2 into this relationship, you're giving them something without asking for anything in return. And you're giving them something that's not very salesy. So this is an easy touch to build value and build on that relationship. So don't skip this step. This seems to be the most skipped step when people talk about the 8x8, is they don't know what to send, or they don't want to send something, or they don't want to spend money. So I can't stress enough that having some sort of an item of value early in the 8x8, how crucial that is. I just don't want you guys to miss that, because there's an opportunity there, right? Then number 3 is the easy one. It's a confirmation text about the item of value. So just like before, how we were talking about, you want to test if they're a phone call person, this really is a test to see if they're a texter. It's also a test to see if they're paying attention, they got whatever. And if not, it's a great chance to re-engage. So the text is super simple. It's just the first 2 lines. So, hey, Joe, it's Ryan. Just wanted to make sure you got whatever you sent them, right? So I just want to make sure you got the Starbucks card I sent you in the mail, or the Starbucks card I emailed you. I just want to make sure you got the app that I sent you, or I just want to make sure you got in touch with, Steven from Steven's Home Inspectors, whatever. You just need to make sure, because there's a chance sometimes they didn't get the gift card, right? And if you sent the gift card and they didn't get it, now you spent the money, wasted the money, didn't get the connection, and you're thinking, wow, why didn't they get it? And they're thinking, man, I wish that person would have followed up with me, right? So we're just checking in to make sure we didn't mess that up intentionally or unintentionally. If it's the app, I can't tell you how many times I've texted someone an app, even if it's our title app, and they say, oh, I forgot to download it. Couldn't figure out the password. I didn't have service. I didn't know what to click. I didn't know what button to hit. So they got the app, but they didn't download it, or they're not using it, or they don't know how to log in, or they need help, or whatever. And if you do that, they're not getting the value out of the item of value. And the third one, did you ever get in touch with the person? There's a good chance they tried to call them and they missed them, or the other way around. They, missed a call coming in, or they left a voicemail, or what happened? They got busy and they just forgot. So we just want to make sure, if I'm sending an item of value, I want to make sure they're getting value out of the item of value, because if not, step 2 is a waste. So step 2 and 3 tie in together, because on week 2, we send the item, and on week 3, we make sure they got it and it's being used. This, again, we're not talking a la carte here, right? You couldn't do number 3 without doing number 2. It'd be stupid. So you have to tie these things together and make sure every time this is a system. If I add someone new to the database, week 1, they get a call. Week 2, they get an item of value. Week 3, they get a confirmation. And this text is so simple, right? If this is coming to you as a notification on your CRM that just says, send confirmation text for Joe Smith's item of value, how long would it seriously take you to send this text? Like, probably less than 10 seconds for those of us with the fast fingers, right? It would be very, very, very simple to send this text. So a nice and easy step, just to make sure. And naturally, they're going to say, yes, thank you, right? So it's just reminding them that you're doing them right. You sent them something for nothing. So nice and easy one, and a good touch. Number 4, the social connection. This is where we're testing how they are on social media, right? We want to find out if they have social media, if they're using it, if they're engaged on it a lot. And this is where you have to start understanding that the goal of all this stuff is to just get them stuck in your web, right? We're trying to get them sticky. We're trying to get them trapped in a spot that they see us all the time. And as you guys know, with social media, if you're texting them, calling them, they're on your social, right? They're seeing your ads, they're seeing your business page, they're getting your little gifts. They're seeing you everywhere. And it's kind of like subliminally telling them, all right, this is my realtor of choice. We had a person, I did this class early this morning, and we had someone on there that said she was really struggling breaking into a farm area. She lives in the area, but there's another realtor in there. But when you do something like this, 8 touches over 8 weeks, you instantly drive yourself to the top of mind of other people. And you can push those people out of the way that are your competition if you're being seen everywhere and getting connected everywhere. So the social connection, the goal of this is to connect with them on any form of social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Facebook business page, get them to share, connect, like yours, whatever. It's just try to get in their social media somehow so that the algorithm can keep working. So if you found them on social media, this is an easy message you send about your business page. If not, you could send them a text or an email with the link with your social business page or your connection. We're just trying to get them together. So it's just simple. Hey, Joe, here's my real estate page. I was hoping you could like it or maybe even share it for me. I share on there great deals, homeowner tips, and great connections to all my preferred vendors in here, and it's free. So if you have, do you have any business pages or social pages that need some extra followers? So maybe they have a small business or a side hustle or something that has social media, and you guys can kind of cross promote or share or work with each other. Nice and easy. Again, something that takes 10, 20 seconds to send, and to do a like or a share or a connection only takes a couple seconds. So all these steps, hopefully you're seeing the pattern, are designed to be insanely easy, because the easier they are, the more likely you are to do it. Right? If it's a very long phone call or a pop by or something, you're just not going to do it. But if it's something like this, you could easily send this in 10 seconds and make an effort at the connection. This is not the mass invite to like your business page, right? This is sent personally. We don't want to just do the mass stuff. We're trying to connect with them and continue that relationship over a, more intimate kind of environment, which is going to be something like this. Then number 5, week 5. So now we've done week 1, which was a call. We've done week 2, item of value. Week 3, follow up on the item of value. Week 4, get connected on social media. Week 5 is the My Story video. This is where you're going to send them something about you that is not about the company you work at, or if you're recruiting agents or hiring or training, or what letters you have after your name, or how many houses you've sold, or why your brokerage is the best. This is who you are as a person. The goal here is to share your mission statement and to get people to like you, know you, and trust you based on who you are as a human, not just your real estate sales, or your real estate criteria or background or whatever. So our goal here is, this is something that everybody should have, just a quick, like 30-second to 5-minute. It shouldn't be longer than that. Even 5 minutes, honestly, is probably pushing it. Somewhere between 30 seconds and a couple of minutes that you have this video, and it might be, on your Facebook business page or lives on your YouTube channel, but it's just an intro, right? So it's, hi, I'm Ryan from XYZ Realty. I specialize in whatever area. And some of my passions include, rescuing dogs and coaching kids hockey. So every closing that I do, I donate $25 to the dog rescue to be able to sponsor food for the dogs for a day. And I donate to the kids hockey program in my town so that they have enough equipment to be able to suit all the kids that can't afford it. These are things that I like to do. Tell me a little bit about what you like to do, right? It's nothing about real estate. It might be, here's my mission, right? So I used to run a big office, and the mission was God, family, business. And if you're into that or not, I don't really care, but I just want to prove a point. I'm not a religious person, but I will just tell you, I would sit and share the mission at the beginning of the meeting with people. And there were times where that was the end of the meeting. Right away, they'd say, great, I believe the same. I want to work with you. Right. And that was it. You didn't have to talk about your commission splits or your fees or your technology or your strategy. It was just, they buy into you because of your mission. So if anybody works with veterans, this is like a hot point, right? The people that work with vets usually do really well with this, in that if you work with veterans and you're doing something for veterans and you share this with somebody else and they happen to be a veteran, or share that passion, or maybe they have someone in their family that fits into that category, you don't have to do any more work. You're not competing for business anymore. That's it. You got it. Unless you really bomb it, you're there. So create this little your story video, and it could be something that changes or you edit or get better or longer over time, but just create something. It puts a face to the name. It connects them with you more as a human and allows them to connect to things that you do. And it's always a good thing to have, because anytime you meet a new client, a new lead, or even need to drum up business from your old leads, such an easy video to just send out. If you have it housed on YouTube or kind of in that YouTube library, it's one click, right? And you can share this thing and share it via text or email or social media. It's very, very simple. Once it's created, once it's done, and don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be Steven Spielberg quality, right? We could take our phone, put it on a tripod, hold it sideways, and sit in front of like a professional spot in our office, maybe in your conference room, or if you want to use one of our conference rooms, I know Kent or Cindy will, accommodate that. So you have a spot that looks, very professional if you don't have somewhere like that to work. Or maybe you do it at a fun, trendy spot that everyone would recognize in the town that you serve. just something to let them connect with you. The goal is to get them to know, like, and trust you. And if you can do that in a 30-second video that you shoot once and you have for the rest of your career, there's no reason not to do it. It makes no sense to not have this. And this is such an easy send. Once it's created and you have it, your week 5 plan for every new person that you meet is 2 clicks to send. It's very, very simple. Number 6, the unsolicited CMA. This also, all of these steps, right? Even number 5, I want to go back for a second. All of these are easy hurdles, right? We started talking about the ones that people won't do. The first one is always the item of value, right? Number 3, the text is easy. Number 4, the social media connection is easy. Number 5, sending them a my story video becomes hard because if you don't have the video, you have nothing to send. So then a lot of people stop here and they're too worried about what their hair, their makeup, or their lipstick looks like. So they're not going to shoot the video. So then the problem stops or starts here, I guess, because everything stops here. But don't overthink this, just create it. When we get to number 6, this is a popular one that people always say they're not going to do also, because most of the time we don't know the person's address, right? If we met them at the dog park or at an open house or at the beach, we don't always know their address. But what will happen all the time is you will get some sort of a clue from them about where they live or where they play or where they hang out or where they're interested in, right? If you meet them at happy hour downtown, we know they're in that area and they're going to say, you know, to you in conversation, oh, I come here all the time because I live here or I walk here or, you know, it's close or I live on the beach. So when you meet them on the beach, they say, oh yeah, I live on the beach. I walk the beach every morning. So we might not know their specific address. If you get the address, we just want to do the standard unsolicited CMA, which is just a basic report of what their property is worth with a wide range of prices to try to close for an appointment. But if we don't get their address, I just want you to understand that a neighborhood update, an area update, a subdivision, a city, even a county update is okay because we're just trying to spark a conversation in their personal life or in their family life that makes them think about selling a house, right? So if you know their address, send them the unsolicited CMA with a range that your house might be worth between 325 and 400. When can I come check it out to see what it really is worth? Because the market is crazy, right? Because at 325, maybe they're not sellers, but at 375, they are. And at 400, they absolutely are, right? But when we think about the neighborhood or the area update, there have been a bunch of people who the last 2 or 3 years have just been living under a rock because they are having life happen, right? They're dealing with kids and jobs and work and staying alive and COVID and all this other fun stuff that if they weren't thinking about selling their house, they're just not thinking about it. So they don't know how crazy the market has been. And yeah, maybe they've heard it on the news or from their friends, but they don't know what it breaks down to them. So we need to get them a neighborhood or an area update. So again, if you know their little area, let's say, you know, downtown, I don't know, downtown Claremont has really been exploding lately. And, you know, over the last 2 years, some areas are up 15%. So based on the average sales price in Claremont of 200,000 over the last 2 years, that 15% increase has given you a $30,000 raise in equity. So if you'd love to see what your house is worth now, or maybe explore your options for refining or getting out or taking advantage of such a great market, I'd love to chat with you. Right? It's just that simple. And it could be a county. It could be, did you know Volusia County over the last year is up 8.6%. And I know that might not translate into anything important for you. However, if your home is 300,000, like the average price home in Volusia County is, that means over the last year, you've made roughly $25,000 in equity. Is it time to cash out or invest that money into a rental property? Or what are you looking to do? And we're just hoping that they open that email or that letter, however you send it, and that night they go home and around the dinner table or laying in bed, they say, hey, honey, did you know that the market has gone up 9% here in the last year? Maybe now we can retire early, or maybe it's time to buy that condo on the beach or refinance or sell the house and move, or, you know, whatever it might be. We're just looking for that to be a conversation starter. And it's so easy to do with anything that's area-based and value-based. So don't overthink this one and don't not send it because you don't know their address or what unit number they are in the condo building, right? Just send a report on the whole condo building. Just trying to spark a conversation. Number 7, the handwritten note. This is another communication style test, right? Some people love handwritten notes. If they're people that love the mail and every day all they get is postcards and junk, and then all of a sudden they get a handwritten note, this is gold for some of them. So it could be very simple. Again, don't overthink this. Marshalls, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, get the big box of handwritten notes that comes with the envelopes and everything you need in it. And it's just going to be very simple. So, hey, Joe, it's been great getting to know you over the past few weeks, and I appreciate you connecting and engaging with all the things I've been putting out there. Please let me know if there's anything you need in the real estate world or even just the local community. Looking forward to seeing you and possibly working with you in the future. And then throw in 2 or 3 of your business cards and send it out. Jen says she does Happy Mail Monday. Oh, that you were making the custom cards or something, weren't you? I remember you telling me that when we had lunch or something one time. So the handwritten note is gold, right? These are things that people will see and open and you'll stick out. And this, we're about to end this 8-week program. Now think about this, right? You can't have every single person in your database on an 8-week program like this, where you have to spend every single week connecting with your whole database. It's not possible, right? It's too large. It's not scalable, but you can meet, 5 or 10 new people a week and put them on this program. So the last main touch is this, the handwritten note, before we add them into the database. And our goal is over those first 8 weeks is to really strengthen that relationship and build it up, and then just drop it into our normal database. And I will tell you a company that does this really well. I've taught this class a couple of times already today and used this example. So let me know if it makes sense to you. But the company that does this really well is Home Depot. I don't know if you guys have ever bought something or if you shop at Home Depot or Lowe's or where you like, but what Home Depot does, whenever you go to buy something, if you're not buying it on your Home Depot credit card or you're not registering your account, they ask you at the end if they can email you the receipt instead of printing it. And the goal there, they say, I'm sure it's to save paper and save money, but the goal there is to connect with you in a different way, because once they have your email, they're golden. But they do their version of an 8x8 and they do it at a very, very high level. So let's say you say yes to the email. They say, great, what project is this for? What are you working on? And you have the ability to put in your address, which is a genius capture tool by them. Like, it is so freaking smart, where that you have the ability to put in your address, or if you're a contractor and you're working on a property, you put in the address, right? So now they have an address tied to you, and they have an email, and they have a name, and they have your credit card information. I mean, they have everything right there, which is genius. And they'll say, great, we'll email it to you. And what happens with most people at Home Depot is, let's say they wake up Saturday morning and they're deciding that they're going to do a project and they want to do molding in their third bedroom, whatever. So they go to Home Depot, they measure everything. They go to Home Depot, they buy the molding, they get it cut there, and they think, all right, I'm going to go home and I'm going to be, tool time man and get this done. And then they get home and they start laying it out and they realize, crap, I forgot something. So they forgot a tool or a drop cloth or paint or nails or whatever it is. And then they have to go make a decision. They have to go back out to get these things, right? They either have to go to Home Depot again, which might be you would think is the logical choice, but it isn't. But they have competition, right? They could go to Lowe's, they could go to Ace Hardware, they could go to your local neighborhood handyman hardware store. They could go to Walmart for half that stuff. They could go to Target for half that stuff, right? There's places all over the place that they can go to do this. What Home Depot does is, on day one, whatever day you meet them, if you do the email to receipt, they email you something later that night or within the first 24 hours. That's a thanks for shopping. How's your project going? Then the next day, they email you another thing like, hey, are you struggling? We have classes inside of Home Depot where we teach people how to do basic household things. If you want to come in for a class, schedule. Then they send another one a couple days later, where they send you a coupon or a discount. Hey, you still working on that room? Come in and get all the finishing touches that you need for 10% off, right? They spend the first 2 months of that relationship via email and whatever information you gave them, trying to solidify that relationship and be top of mind, so that the next time you need to make a purchase, you don't even think about Lowe's, because Home Depot has been in your email, on your social media, on your credit card statement. You've been in the store physically a couple of times. Then you got a physical mail coupon, right? They've hit you from every angle. They do this so well. They master these onboarding programs. And then guess what? After a couple of weeks, you're then in the mix of the regular Home Depot database, which is just an auto send that they send out, once a month or whenever there's a sale or an ad or a holiday or whatever. I know that's a drawn out example, but I need you to look at a company like that and see how good of a job they do at it, and then tie that into your real estate business, right? If Home Depot can do it, we can do it. So after you finish these 7 steps, you're going to go to week 8, and somewhere in the 8th week, you're now moving them. You're ending that campaign, right? So you've now spent 8 weeks, touching them every week. We're ending that, and we're moving them into our annual database plan, which is going to have some automation. It's going to have some email newsletters. They're now in the mix with all the regular people in my database. So hopefully over the last 8 weeks, I've spent time driving my mind share, my mindset up to the top, so that when they think about real estate, they're thinking about me, they're thinking about you. right? And then over the next 8 weeks or the rest of the relationship, really, it becomes maintenance. So you're playing offense at a high level, 1 touch a week for the first 8 weeks. And then you go to maintenance because now you're at the top, right? Once you're at the top of that market share, you don't need to remind them as much. And Home Depot, same thing, right? Once they get you to the top of that market share and they know you're coming back to Home Depot consistently, the coupons are less frequent, the emails are less frequent, right? You're just on the same thing as the rest of the group, but they do a great job at that. And this is what you need to do. So step 8, anytime in week 8, we're going to add them over to our annual database plan so that we can continue the systematic attack. So kind of a summary here. Here's the 8, right? So again, 8 touches over 8 weeks. 8 weeks. On day 0 or week 0, we meet them and then we start on week 1. Anywhere in the first 7 days, we call them with the "it was great meeting you" script. Anywhere in week 2, we send them an item of value that's not always, attached to a cost. Number 3, we confirm they're using or have connected with or have spent whatever we sent them for the item of value. Week 4, we're connecting with them on social media. Week 5, we're going to send them our story to try to connect on a personal level. Week 6, some sort of an unsolicited CMA. So if you have their address, great, send it. If you don't, just something generic about the area that they live in, or maybe just the county that you guys met in, just to try to get them engaged in a conversation about buying or selling a home. Week 7, that personal touch, handwritten note, a couple business cards inside. And then week 8, slide them over into your annual database plan so you can keep following up with them. So in summary, this is something, again, that is not a la carte, right? You need to leave here and go put these things into play. I'm going to leave you here with about 25 minutes extra of time that you can go make this happen. But what I need you guys to do is just go do this, go put it into action. And if one of the steps you don't have yet, but you set a reminder for week 5 to send the My Story video, guess what? If you meet someone new today, you have 5 weeks to figure out the My Story video. You got plenty of time to figure it out. But on week 1, the phone call, everyone can start these plans today and easily make a phone call if they meet someone anywhere over the next week. That first week of follow-up is very, very simple. So get this thing built out. Whatever you use, if it's Sync or KV Core or Boomtown or Real Geeks or any technology that your broker offers, whatever it is, get one of these things built out. This simple. It doesn't need to be crazy, and you can always tweak it and make it better. It's a living, breathing thing, right? But get out of here and actually make this follow-up plan so that you never have to answer yes to the questions that we started the class with if you've forgotten to add people to your database or if you've forgotten to follow up with people. And I'm sure all of us are thinking of someone right now that we've forgotten to follow up with that we need to do this to, and that's good, right? That's the point of these. So thank you guys, as always, for your business. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. Over the rest of the year, we still have in-person events going. We're sticking with the Zoom schedule every Monday at 12 o'clock. We have a lot of awesome business planning clinics coming up in all your different markets, so be ready for that. Carrie, thank you as always for the slides and making sure everything looks nice. Coming up 1 week from today, next week on Zoom, we're doing using LinkedIn job notifications to fill your pipeline. So I'm going to teach you this strategy. I've talked about this in some of the classes that I've done in person. I want to get you guys in person or on Zoom, I guess, but I want to get you guys to see exactly how this is done. It's going to be a couple easy screen share slides, and I'm going to give you guys a strategy to use LinkedIn to really build up your pipeline. It's a great, great, great tool that is underutilized. So anybody is welcome to that, of course, realtors, mortgage lenders, but even if you have people that are in other things that are looking to get better at LinkedIn, feel free to invite them, because this will just be like a easy LinkedIn tip that's going to help you really kind of take it to the next level. So please invite anyone you know. If there's any realtors that you know that should be on these calls that aren't, tell Cindy or Kent who they are, and they'll help go after them with you, and let us know if we can get them on, or feel free to always send them our links or any of our stuff to get them on. And last slide here, just contact information. If anybody needs anything, my email's at the top. My social media is kind of in the middle. And then at the bottom, if you're not in the private Facebook group already yet, for whatever reason, make sure you join there. Just hop on Facebook, type in the search bar, Ryan McHugh Real Estate Trainer Inner Circle, hit search. You'll find the group with this same logo, my little beard logo, and just request access. And it is private, so I have to let you in, but I will, of course, whenever I get back on there. So if you're not already on there, make sure you get on there. Other than that, I will see everybody soon.